The streaming company saw a beat on earnings per share, coming in at $3.29, but just missed expectations on revenue at $8.19 billion US. Even still, Netflix is still working to differentiate from its competitors and stay on top of the content game. With major difficulties like AI, the Hollywood strikes, and diversification of content, Netflix's future strategy could take many avenues. Quest is the world's largest media and entertainment-focused consulting firm. Let's bring in Quest US EVP of Digital Supply Chain, John Christian, to dig into what may be Netflix's trajectory going forward. Good to have you on the show here. So, obviously, we've come a long way from where Netflix first started, when the competition was not this fierce. What is going to be the key then? What is going to be the key value add or differentiator for Netflix at this point of the industry?
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. So Netflix originally differentiated with their technology platform. They were basically the first in the game in streaming. They were cloud enabled. And the other advantage that Netflix has over the others is they haven't done a lot of acquisitions. And as a result, they are literally going off of a single media supply chain. And there's a ton of efficiencies that could come off that. So from a cost perspective, I see that Netflix is definitely going to dive deeper into the technology. There will be a ton of automation on the AI side when it comes to localization and globalization. And I think where Netflix also has a strong differentiator is in their global model. So traditional content creators are creating content in the US and then localizing it internationally, where Netflix is doing a ton of in-territory content creation. And I think that could actually pay off pretty well. And especially with the impending strikes, leveraging the content from international territories and bringing that into the US also could pay dividends.
And you raise a good point, because with the double strike going on at the moment, when you look at other markets that have really been a boon for Netflix, you look at some of the Korean language content, we have content coming out of India, Nigeria, Nollywood content as well. How much room is there to grow for Netflix in those markets?
Oh, I think quite a bit. And not only, so obviously the in-territory content, it's a great boon for basically that territory, because they actually want to see local talent, not just be dependent on actors from Hollywood. But I think the surprise to many was how well it was received in the US market, right? If you just even look at the success of Squid Games and things of that nature, I think there's quite a bit of room. And I think you're going to see the other studios and content creators, they're actually going after that same type of market too.
And we've seen a lot of consolidation in this space, a lot of, movie companies and streamers trying to figure out about putting some of these releases in movie theaters versus how long they should keep them as actual just streaming products and services there. What is the gameplay here in terms of what will give them the best bang for their buck and how they should be thinking about the types of content that they do put out in movie theaters?
Yes. So I think, first of all, I think if you look at the past 2 years, it was get subscribers at all costs and create content at all costs. And I think some of the quality was sacrificed as a result in being able to do that. In this particular case, in terms of creation of the content, and I'm sorry, just one more time, would you mind just reminding me the question?
Sure. When you look at where some of these streamers are getting the most bang for their buck, and they're thinking of theatrical releases versus keeping them as, a series on the platforms.
Thank you. So sorry. So Netflix has been very against theatrical release because they wanted to be a technology platform, and everything was about putting it on the platform. You look at the other traditional studios, what's amazing about what they do is when they create a theatrical release, they're able to recapture all of that cost in the theatrical market, or at least a good portion of that, and not even release it to the streaming platform for a period of time. They have a release window, right? And being able to do that. So I really do think that Netflix should think long and hard that if they are going to create theatrical release, feature release, non-episodic content, that they should have a strategy to go to the theaters that at least will allow them to recoup some of their costs and even potentially have a higher revenue. And that makes them more of a traditional kind of studio. And I know they want to stay on the technology platform, but I think that's a much better route to go than, trying to diversify into gaming or something like that.
And as they do focus on quality versus quantity, we keep hearing about the next stage perhaps being sports, but very expensive for some of these live sports broadcasting. Is that something that you think is going to pay off for Netflix at this point?
So let's talk about what they have done in sports. I mean, so if you look at what they've done with Formula One, what they've done with golf, what they've done with tennis, it's not live, but they're doing documentary style content delivery. And in being able to do that, they are creating a connection with the fans to basically those particular athletes or personas. And you're feeling very close. Just look at how much F1 has taken off in the US in the recent years. And I think a lot of that is owed to basically Netflix and being able to do that. So people that weren't even watching F1 before are now attached to drivers, understand the different car makers and basically how it works. And now they're attending live events in Austin and Miami and things like that. And so what they're able to do, and they also have a very rich data analytics platform, they could see how well this is being received. That could give them very informed decisions on if they actually want to get into the market and go into live streaming of sports content. So I do think that is an uncharted territory that could have major dividends for them if they want to get into that game.
Definitely want to see where that goes. The documentaries have been fantastic, so it definitely makes sense that that would be the next natural evolution. A big thank you there to Quest US EVP of Digital Supply Chain, John Christian. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.